The crowd immediately turns on Shen Yi, calling him a jerk and a scumbag for embarrassing Yibing. Yibing panics internally. Her plan was to dump him publicly, but now everyone thinks she is the one who got rejected, completely ruining her reputation. She reaches out to stop him from leaving, but a muscular student steps in front of Shen Yi to block his path. Shen Yi recognizes him as Sun Ming, the class's number 3 student. Sun Ming aggressively tells Shen Yi he can't leave until Yibing gives him permission. Shen Yi just tells him to move because class is about to start. Sun Ming flexes his arm and brags that he got a lot stronger while Shen Yi was absent. Claiming Shen Yi is no longer the top student, Sun Ming threatens to break his bones unless he apologizes to Yibing right then and there. Shen Yi sighs, figuring it's easier to just play along than deal with a fight. He turns back to Yibing and puts on a dramatic act. He forces a fake tear, acts completely heartbroken, and loudly apologizes. He yells out that she wins and tells her to go ahead and keep pestering him if it makes her happy. Shen Yi then runs off fake sobbing, leaving the entire crowd stunned. The students now think Shen Yi is genuinely heartbroken and that Yibing is just bullying him. Yibing completely freaks out, realizing his fake apology just made her look like a controlling stalker. She tries to explain herself to the crowd but just gets flustered and blames Sun Ming for ruining everything. Sun Ming gets angry that his plan to look like the good guy is completely ruined. He charges at Shen Yi, throwing a heavy punch to teach him a lesson. Shen Yi easily dodges. Activating his moonlit deerwalk skill, a green aura surrounds him as he effortlessly flips right over Sun Ming, casually kicking him in the back of the head on his way down. The crowd is completely shocked by his insane speed and agility. They realize Sun Ming didn't even have time to react, and if Shen Yi had actually put power behind that kick, Sun Ming would be knocked out cold. Landing smoothly on his feet, Shen Yi keeps up his innocent act, asking what more Sun Ming wants since he already apologized. Before a real fight can break out, a teacher suddenly interrupts, yelling at the crowd to break it up and head to the field because the mock exams are about to start. Not wanting to get scolded, the students quickly scatter and head to the field. As they head to the field, Sun Ming glares at Shen Yi and warns him that this isn't over. Later, while waiting in a massive line for the physical exams, Shen Yi is busy stretching. His buddy Hao Yu walks up, complaining about the wait, and suggests they sneak off to check out a new comic shop behind the school to kill time. This conversation reminds Shen Yi that he passed out as soon as his head hit the pillow last night and completely forgot to collect his daily title. Figuring this is the perfect time to grab it, he declines Hao Yu's offer. He tells his friend to save his spot in line, faking a stomachache so he can quickly run to the restroom. Shen Yi walks down an empty hallway and ducks into the bathroom. Just a moment later, a dark figure steps out from hiding in the corridor. It is another assassin tracking him. The shadowy guy pulls out a pen glowing with purple magic and silently creeps into the dark restroom to strike. However, when the assassin steps inside and looks around, he is left completely confused. The bathroom is entirely empty. The assassin looks around the empty stalls, completely confused about where Shen Yi went since he just saw him walk in. Meanwhile, Shen Yi has already used his door to enter the dark hallway and is fully equipped with his elf disguise. He calls out for the giant skeleton, but the monster isn't around. As he walks through the dark, he kicks something hard on the ground. He looks down and realizes it is the loaded pistol left behind by the first assassin. Even though he has never used a gun before, he picks it up, glad to have another weapon for defense in the elven territory. Wondering where the skeleton wandered off to, Shen Yi decides not to wait around and pulls out the silver war medal. He activates it, and a bright blue teleportation circle lights up beneath him. Just as the magic surges, the mysterious voice from his first day in the hospital calls out to him again. Shen Yi recognizes the voice immediately. The entity tells him it doesn't have much power left to help him anymore. A dark, branch-like object materializes in front of Shen Yi. The voice refers to the item as a human token. Before Shen Yi can ask any questions, the teleportation magic flashes, and he disappears from the hallway. Shen Yi lands in a bright forest, dizzy from the teleportation. He looks down at the human token the mysterious voice gave him and realizes it is actually a dagger. Hearing a rustling noise, he turns just as 3 elves step out of the bushes. They walk right up to him and call him Fern, complaining that he took too long and they almost aborted the mission. Shen Yi plays along, making a quick excuse about a minor hiccup. He looks closely and notices all 3 of them are wearing the exact same pale shadow crown as him, meaning they are also just imposters. The leader tells him they already earned the local elf tribe's trust by pretending to be injured soldiers returning from the battlefield. He explains their actual plan is to strike tonight, assassinate the chief, and steal all the tribe's treasures. The leader asks if he is ready for the attack. Shen Yi agrees, acting eager for the loot, and casually reaches up to adjust his crown. Instantly, the other 3 fake elves completely panic and scream at him not to touch it. The fake elves yell at him, calling him an idiot. They warn him that taking off the crown will expose his true identity as an undead and get them all killed. Shenye realizes these three are just undead soldiers and that the giant skeleton totally dumped its own mission onto him. The group dashes off toward the elf village. Shenye struggles to keep up with their crazy speed, noting how strong the undead really are. They finally reach the village outskirts at night. The leader tells Shenye that getting inside is easy because of his badge, but the risky part is the assassination. The leader then explains that the three of them will stay outside for cover, leaving Shenye to go in and kill the chief all by himself. Shenye points at himself in shock. The three undead instantly glare at him with glowing eyes, suspiciously asking if he is backing out. Knowing they will kill him on the spot if he says no, Shenye quickly puts on a crazy act. He pulls out his dagger, licks it, and claims he can't wait to taste blood. The undead buy it and back off. Internally, Shenye panics, knowing that assassinating a chief in the middle of an enemy base is basically a suicide mission. The undead call up to the guards on the wall to let their companion in. The elf guards spot Shenye's silver war medallion, assume he is a valiant soldier from the front lines, and open the gates. Realizing he is dead either way, Shenye curses the skeleton for making him take the fall as he walks inside. Shenye walks through the peaceful elf village, passing by locals just going about their daily lives, until he reaches a large building. A guard at the door tells him to go right in, mentioning that the chief is already expecting his arrival. The undead leader stops at the entrance, claiming the three of them will rest and wait for him outside. Shenye knows they are really just standing guard to make sure he doesn't run away. Stepping inside the building, Shenye complains to himself about being dragged into some feud between the undead and the elves. Still, he figures if he can somehow pull this off, he might score a really good title from the system. He walks down a long hallway and enters a dimly lit room with a large stained glass window. Standing in front of the window is a tall elf reading a book, with small blue flames floating nearby. The elf closes the book, turns around, and calmly welcomes the soldier from the front lines, leaving Shenye completely surprised. A system prompt pops up, revealing that his door ability allows him to analyze the titles of other beings. A massive list of glowing purple titles suddenly surrounds the elf chief, including insane ones like Spirit of the Myriad Forests, Grandmaster of Arcane Arts, and one of the 5 world heads. Shenye thinks back to his own broken polite person title and realizes just how naive he was to think he could pull this off. He figures out that the undead outside are way too weak to face this elf, which is exactly why they sent him in as bait. He internally curses the skeleton for setting him up. The elf chief simply thanks him for his service on the front lines and tells him to rest. Before Shenye can even react, blue teleportation magic surrounds him. The chief tells him to go enjoy the celebratory feast, and in a flash, Shenye is teleported straight into a crowded, noisy banquet hall. The 3 disguised undead walk up to him with food and drinks. The leader tells Shenye to eat up and wait, explaining that the chief will join the feast soon. He instructs Shenye to make his move when she lets her guard down and promises that the 3 of them will cover his escape. Shenye immediately sees through the lie, knowing they just plan to use the chaos of his suicide attack to run away. Realizing this is no different from just waiting to die, Shenye tries to think of a way out. While he stresses over his impending doom, a pretty blonde elf girl suddenly walks up to his table. She asks him for a dance, saying it is a great honor to dance with a frontline hero. Shenye awkwardly agrees, admitting he isn't a very good dancer, but she just smiles and offers to lead him to the floor. Shenye dances with the elf girl, internally stressing over his suicide mission, but admitting that under normal circumstances, dancing with her would be great. She notices he is quiet and asks if the trauma from the front lines is bothering him, pointing out that his 3 brothers are also acting completely silent and stiff. Shenye brushes it off, apologizing for his clumsy dancing, and asks her name. She introduces herself as Lanny. Seeing an opportunity to make a move, Shenye offers to perform a magic trick to make up for his bad dancing. Lani loves the idea and hands him her bracelet as an advance reward, playfully warning him she will take it back if the trick isn't impressive. Shenye steps back and shouts to grab the attention of the entire banquet hall. He announces he is going to perform a magic trick they have never seen before called the Great Human Transformation, claiming he can seamlessly turn himself into a human. The elves, including Lani, excitedly cheer for him to show them. Watching from the sidelines, the 3 disguised undead are completely confused. One whispers, wondering if their companion actually knows a transformation spell. The leader just smirks, assuming Shenye is putting on a clever act to blend in with the crowd and create the perfect distraction for their assassination plot. Shenye tells the crowd to watch closely and pulls the pale shadow crown off his head. A green flash surrounds him as he instantly reverts to his true human form in midair. He lands smoothly and playfully tosses the crown to Lanny. The elves go wild, totally amazed by his round ears and different eyebrows, completely buying the magic trick act. Lanny smiles, thanking him for the crown, and asks him to change back now. Instead, Shenye points right at the three disguised undead standing on the sidelines. He explains that his transformation happened just by taking off the crown, but if his three brothers take off theirs, they will transform into undead. The entire banquet hall freezes at the word undead. The elf guards instantly go on high alert, surrounding the three panicked imposters with their spears. Taking full advantage of the massive distraction, Shenye quietly summons his magical door right behind him. He casually waves goodbye to Lanny, joking that he'll be right back after his brothers transform, and falls backward through the doorway. The elves rush forward to grab him, but the door completely vanishes into thin air, leaving them stunned by the impossible escape. Dropping her innocent act, Lanny's eyes narrow as she instantly orders the guards to capture the three undead. Before the fake elves can even draw their weapons, thick magical vines shoot out of the floor and tightly bind them all. Back in the banquet hall, the elf chief steps up to the trapped spies. He points out the irony that the undead tried to infiltrate his village, only for a human to infiltrate their group and ruin the entire mission. One of the spies tries to play dumb by mentioning their fake badges, but the magic vines knock off his crown, instantly revealing his hideous monster form. The chief picks up the crown and notes it uses high-level shadow magic. This is a massive win for the elves, as they finally know how the undead have been sneaking into their villages and can now develop a countermeasure. The chief admits he owes the human a debt, while Lanny just stares at the empty space, realizing Shenye isn't coming back. Meanwhile, Shenye safely lands back in the dark hallway of the Nightmare Realm. He notes that his door actually changed its appearance to blend in with the elf village, realizing just how risky his escape really was. He then spots the giant skeleton casually eating nearby. Furious, Shenyi marches over and yells at the monster for having a feast while he was out risking his life in elven territory. The skeleton is completely shocked and speaks human language for the first time, asking how Shenye is still alive. Surprised it can talk, Shenye immediately accuses the monster of giving him the crown on purpose to send him on a suicide mission. The skeleton demands to know how he survived and promises to pay a fair price for the details. Shenye refuses, stating he holds grudges and almost died. A system prompt suddenly appears, showing the skeleton is offering a powerful undead spell in exchange for the story. Shenye takes one look at the glowing scroll, completely rejects it, and yells at the monster, asking if it really thinks it can buy him off with just that, claiming the low offer is an insult to his character. The skeleton sighs and explains it only gave Shenye the crown because humans and elves are allies. If it had gone into the village in its true form, it would have been killed instantly. Wanting to make amends and finally hear the story, it decides to exceed the equal exchange contract and gifts Shenyi a legacy nightmare crystal. It's an incredibly precious artifact that contains 3 top-tier evolutionary undead talents. The skeleton reveals its enemies actually kept it alive just to get their hands on this specific crystal, and now it wants to give it to a human just to spite them. Shenye eagerly accepts the apology and takes the crystal. His mind is instantly transported to a dark void where a massive, ancient skeletal monarch sits on a throne. 3 glowing orbs appear before him, each representing a different evolutionary talent. The first is Dark Whispers, allowing him to speak with the dead. The second is Sacred Remains Body, giving him 5 seconds of temporary invincibility from fatal damage once a day. The third is Undead Resurrection, a fundamental spell that can revive the dead. Shenye analyzes his options. He realizes Undead Resurrection is useless to him right now, and while 5 seconds of invincibility sounds great, he'd still likely die right after it wears off. He decides Dark Whispers is exactly what he needs to quickly gather information and figure out who keeps sending assassins after him. He chooses the first orb and crushes it, absorbing the green energy. Back in the hallway, the skeleton is surprised by his choice, noting that past undead monarchs usually chose the resurrection or invincibility talents. Shenye shrugs it off, happy with his new ability to sense the whispers of the dead. Now that they are even, Shenye finally tells the skeleton exactly what happened in the elf village, including how he used his door to escape right after exposing the 3 undead spies. The skeleton listens intently, realizing the original assassination target was supposed to be a female elven priestess. The skeleton reveals that the chief Shenye just met is actually the high priest of the elven race. Shenye is relieved he didn't try to assassinate him, noting that his incredibly long list of titles makes total sense now. He also realizes that since the 3 undead knights were captured by the elves, they can no longer monitor him. Seeing this as his only chance to escape their constant watch, Shenye turns toward the door. The skeleton asks where he is going, but Shenye ignores him and steps back into his school hallway. As he steps through the door, the system notifies him that he has earned a new daily evaluation title, One of Us. It's an excellent quality green title that gives him a powerful buff. Once a day, if he tells a target, "Hey, I'm one of us," they will genuinely regard him as one of their own for 10 seconds, after which they forget everything that just happened. The only catch is that the target's total attributes cannot exceed twice his own. Shen Ye smiles, finding this title incredibly useful. The system then chimes in again, alerting him that he obtained the Bracelet of Natural Blessing. He realizes it's the bracelet Lani gave him during the magic trick, and it's actually an excellent quality green accessory that slowly increases his spiritual power. Thrilled with his huge haul of a green title, a green bracelet, a new talent, a short sword, and a loaded pistol, Shen Ye quickly hides everything and heads back to the mock exams. Out on the field, the agility test is underway. It involves dodging purple paintballs shot from holes in the ground. His friend Hao Yu tries to show off while dodging but gets hit square in the face with a paintball, scoring a mediocre 71 points. The teacher then calls Shen Ye's name. Shen Ye steps onto the course, completely relaxed. The moment the test starts, he effortlessly glides through the obstacles. He moves so fast that the paintballs can't even keep up with his speed. The crowd is amazed, noting he looks like he's ice skating and seems much faster since his hospital stay. Shen Ye thinks to himself that with all his recent combat experience dodging real assassins and monsters, this simple test is incredibly easy, requiring only a fraction of his moonlit deerwalk skill.